Welcome to Simple or Not Kitchen. My name is Melissa, and here in Simple or Not Kitchen, we take some of those online cooking videos and we put them to the test and let you know if they're simple to follow or not. And I started today's video with such high hopes. I'm making this orange upside down cake that cooks on the stove rather than in the oven. I almost didn't make this video because the video that I was following online made this recipe look so easy and so delicious and so good. I was so excited to make it, but I have to tell you, it's probably one of my biggest culinary failures. I couldn't get the cake to come out right. Well, this recipe and this cake was a disappointment. I did salvage it in the end with a ganache topping, so I decided to go ahead and make the video anyway. So this recipe starts out with just a basic homemade cake batter, but rather than cooking this in the oven, again, we are going to be cooking it stovetop. We are making an orange upside down cake, and so we're going to start by slicing our oranges. We're going to keep the peel right on the orange and just slice them. We don't want them too thin, but we don't want them too thick either. Before we add our cake batter to the pan, we're going to go ahead and melt some butter, stir in a little bit of sugar, and then we're going to go ahead and place our oranges in the sugary pan. And while our oranges are simmering, we're going to go ahead and start the cake batter. It's just a basic chocolate cake batter. We're going to start by whisking together an egg with some sugar and a little bit of vanilla. We're going to whisk it really nicely, and then we're going to add about a cup of flour and some baking powder. And this is a chocolate cake, so in goes some unsweetened cocoa powder. Then we're going to stir it all together. And we're also going to add in a little bit of milk as well. A little bit of oil. And we're just going to stir it all together till it's nice and smooth. Doesn't it look delicious? When I was at this point in making this video, I was really happy. I couldn't wait to eat this cake. And so far with this cake, nothing has been too tricky or difficult. We're going to take that cake batter, we're going to pour it right over our oranges in the frying pan. And we want to try as best as we can to cover all the oranges with the cake batter. Then we're going to cover it and let it cook for about 10 to 15 minutes. After a few minutes, this is what our cake looks like. It's cooking pretty well. We want to insert a knife or a toothpick, and if it comes out clean, then it's ready for the next step, which is flipping it. This is an upside down cake, so we need to flip it upside down. You can use a plate for this. I'm just using a cutting board. Make sure whatever you use is big enough to cover, of course, the pan, because the cake is going right on there. And see, at this point, it came out okay. It looks all right. It looks pretty. The problem came when I had to move it back into the pan. It literally fell apart. And you can see here me trying to slide it back into the pan, and it was a very soft cake, and you can see it just kind of started to fall apart. And so I had a tough time getting it back in that pan. And this is what I was left with, pieces of cake. So at this point I was super disappointed with this cake, but I was not going to let it defeat me. I love a chocolate cake, and I love the combination of chocolate and orange. So I just pieced it back together as best as I could, made a quick ganache frosting out of some melted chocolate chips and a little bit of cream, poured it over the top, and was left with a cake that might have looked a little bit funny, but hey, at least it tasted good. Thank you for watching Simple or Not Kitchen. For more recipes, articles, and video, go online to PinnellCentral.com.